Sup, it's Hallie, and welcome to Foreign Relations. I guess it's using another mod's persistent data. Let's just go. This is a demo. I don't really know how long it is or quite what it's about. Disclaimer, when dialogue text is displayed like this, hello world is meant to sting of the character speaking in Japanese, I guess is what that said. I didn't get a good enough jump on it. A subdued, high-pitched whine gives way to a rumbling racket, reverberating in my chest, as the rest of my body is gently yanked forward in my seat. I think we're landing. The onslaught of audible and physical cacophonies serves as a rude awakening, the tires making contact with the tarmac, providing most of it. Catching a few hours of sleep on the plane was much needed, but a steady fatigue still mulled over my brain. Nothing a lethal amount of caffeine can't fix, though. My mind tries to process the next 24 hours, the wheres, the whats, the whens, the costs, all into a monotonous process that felt second nature to me. Nothing could disrupt me on how I was going to settle down in this new world I have found myself in. Save for a few ambiguities, though I can't really expect much more of my home school's competency in these things. Christ, one time they mixed up their recycled and drinking water pipes, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Walking down the jet bridge to arrivals, I soon come to realize I'm no longer inside an air-conditioned heating flying tin can. A chill soon finds itself, and I zip up my hoodie in an attempt to retain much of my heat. Looking out the windows shows a vast concrete plateau adorned with lights, as passenger jets taxi, take off, land, a frantic scurry that seems all too chaotic, all under a gentle scattered light through an overcast sky. A mental reminder tells me to take out my phone and to turn the airplane mode off and check for any notifications I might have missed out on during the flight. Of course, switching over to the airport Wi-Fi as I don't have a SIM card here. JJ, 2 notifications. Oh, bother. Who's JJ? Yo, have you landed yet? What's it like? Chill, dude, I've only set foot in Japan for like an hour. It's damn cold is what it is. No snow, though. You don't seem excited, bruv. I've been more or less sent on exile. I don't think I should be all that pumped.
Yeah, but you're in Japan. Lots of cool stuff for real. Just get to make new friends at school. Maybe cop a baddie.
Dude, you realize this shit isn't like anime. School is school. I'm sure boringness transcends languages and cultures.
Alright, pipe down. Just trying to be optimistic.
I'm just trying to be realistic.
This is why you get no bitches.
Oh, remind me who you went to formal with. Thought so.
Ay, come on, man.
That aside, you know I can't really make small talk with strangers, let alone ones with a language barrier between us. Besides, it's not like I'm gonna end up in some whimsical situations like in that one anime you recommended where it was just some guy surrounded by girls all the time. You're not missing out on much, I assure you.
Aye, fine. Just don't miss out on anything, though. I want to know. I wouldn't waste this opportunity by being a loner and shit. Especially when you can cop a Japanese baddie. Leave your old self back at St. Hewlett's, bruv.
Whatever. I put my phone back inside my coat pocket. JJ and I must have been chatting for a while. I can now see the entrance to customs through the arrivals. A small queue seems to have been built up from the other passengers from my flight, and I take this time to get ready. I reposition my bag to pull out the folder with all my documentation, passports and the like, in anticipation for the screening at customs. The queue gets smaller by the minute, and I soon remember I have to take my laptop out onto a separate tray to get scanned. I take a stroll around the airport for a quick lunch, having just retrieved my luggage from the carousel. I spot a chic-looking joint that sells pre-packaged meals in a neat little box. When in Rome, I guess. I go in to choose whatever looks the most appetizing, prices marked out on small yellow paper stickers on their covers. I flip through my wallet to check out if I have exchanged enough yen for this. Good to go. I go over to the cashier and give them the exact amount of yen for it, as I really don't want to embarrass myself by butchering this poor worker's language and making an ass out of myself. They take the bill and hand back a receipt, having just been coughed out by a delicately yellowed small plastic printer.
Have a good one.
Thanks, you too. Wait, the fuck? I don't have a moment to go over what just happened back at the bento stall as I feel my phone vibrate in my pocket. I look for a spot to sit down in and take in my surroundings. Given its closeness to where I just was, this has got to be some sort of food court. Bare concrete pillars line the outside, a few meters away from the floor-to-ceiling window. The floor is made out of some polished stone that has some obvious wear to it, as its shimmer is occasionally broken by streaks left over from rubberized castor wheels or foot traffic. I sit down at a bench, first checking on the notification on my phone. St. Hewlett's College / Kurabayashi High School Exchange Channel. M. Stark? We're meeting at the West Food Court. I brought a few of my friends over too. We're in our school uniforms, so you should be able to see us. On it, making tracks. I stow my lunchbox back into my bag and haul ass to the meet point, given its distance. I scan the area around me. It seems like another food court, though the decor and general air of it was leagues above the one I was just at. The ceiling was a lot lower, though it lent itself being more extravagant, with ceiling lights hidden behind sconces to give off the look that the ceiling itself was glowing. The seating arrangements were vastly superior too. Booths upholstered in tartan cushions align themselves in an orderly manner, giving some privacy between groups. Far better than a hodgepodge of sheet aluminum tables and benches. All the tables had groups of people on them, save for the odd loner, and I was hard-pressed to find the correct one. Just as I was doubting myself on finding them, I spotted a group of girls in uniforms out in the distance by the windows. The colors are on point with mine. Sorry, I'm struggling with this. The colors are on point with mine I packed for before the flight. A grayish blazer with blue skirts. That has to be Kurabayashi High. As I approach the group, I spot one of them adorned with a red bow gently nudges the girl with the white bow next to her, soon pointing in my direction. A thought crosses my mind, whether hair accessories signify a pecking order, but I soon dismissed this notion.
Over here!
She outstretches an arm up in the air and flashes a wide grin, unaware of any attention she might bring to herself. I get closer only to realize the reality of the situation before me, the hustle and bustle of the food court dying down in my head. The rest of the world is melting away outside my ever-narrowing cone of vision. 1, 2, 3. Ah, crap. They're all girls! I steel myself as I make first contact with these strangers from a strange land. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hey guys, you're at Kurabayashi High, yeah? I do a quick recount on what I just said and internally facepalm at my own expense. For one, they're all girls. 2, they think that you think they're all called Kurabayashi. 3, ending a sentence with yeah is cryptic as hell for them. Then, to wrap things up, you don't even know if they understood all that. What a great start. The girls exchange cursory glances at one another before deciding the one with the white bow is the one to respond to that mismatch of diplomatic vomit.
Yes, we are. I'm Monica. This is Sayori and Natsuki.
Okay, lesson learned from last time. Keep it simple. Good to see all of you.
Likewise.
I take note of Monica. I suspect she's the host I've been assigned to. I exchange handshakes with them, then take my seat, after which one of them speaks up. The pink-haired one, who I believe going by seating order is Natsuki, says something in an inquisitive tone which gets a stern reply from the red bow. Natsuki's face then emerges with a hue of crimson, with the rest of the group laughing at her expense, I think. All I could gather from that little exchange was, boy, I guess they're talking about me. All of them soon reach into their bags. I glance over to Monica as some desperate plea as to what to do.
We're having lunch. Would you like to join us?
Screw it. If she is the person who I think she is, I'm sure she's fluent enough. Sure thing. I retrieve my lunchbox from my bag, whilst catching onto little tidbits of the conversation the girls are having between them, with the word right showing up here and there. As soon as my eyes are redirected from my bag to the tabletop, I'm met with 2 pairs of inquisitive eyes. One I'm fairly familiar with, but the other one wants to say something but can't quite communicate. As soon as I catch on, Sayori glances away, staring down at her own lunch. You know, I thought you'd be a guy, Monica.
We all thought you'd be a girl.
The exchange channel abbreviates our first names, so I had a feeling something like this would happen. See, I had no idea earlier, I just saw an M. In any case, Miss Stark, it's good to finally see you in person. We all continue with unpacking lunch until Sayori pipes up to Monica. Monica's hand gestures tell me it's got something to do with me and my lunch. Sayori appears to relent to Monica and looks at me, eye contact breaking with every time she touches her indexes together.
May I have one?
Ah. I slide over my bento to her and give her a nod, her eyes lighting up after doing so. This seems to get a giggle out of everyone else. Sayori asserts herself and grabs a piece of fried tofu from my bento, self-satisfaction plastered on her face. Given her eagerness to take a bit of my lunch, I retract my bento, away from the range of her chopsticks. Monica nudges Sayori back and says something to her in an authoritative tone.
What do you say afterwards?
Huh, guess I caught what she said.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The lot of us finished our lunch 10 minutes ago, and the rest of the group have been engaged in idle chit-chat. I somewhat strain my ears into what they're saying, picking up words that are often brought up. I focus on a couple, especially on this literature club I keep hearing about. Curiosity gets the best of me, and I press Monica for answers. Monica, you're in a club, I presume. Oh, pardon me.
Yes, actually, these two are in it as well. If we had one more come over, this would have been a club meeting of sorts. I'm the club president and Sayori is the vice president.
Huh, so there is a pecking order. I see. What's your club about?
It's, how do you say? Poetry, books, we talk about them and write some as well.
Huh.
I know it doesn't sound all too exciting, but...
Oh no, I'm fully interested. The club could be a massive help in my learning. It's partly the reason why I got transferred anyways, or language enrichment and so on. My mind rushes back to what JJ told me. Leave your old self back at St. Hewlett's, bruv. Fuck it. Consider this my application. Monica shoots me a warm smile, soon outstretching a hand to me. I do the same.
Application accepted. Welcome aboard.
Glad to be here, thank you. I noticed the two other girls glance at each other speculatively, with Natsuki being the most vocally interrogative. This back and forth comes to a close, with Sayori facing Monica in an equally puzzled demeanor Natsuki had with her a moment ago.
Monica, did he just join?
Yes.
Voila!
I'm guessing I just shook up the vice president over a combination of granting her club a new member and the fact I can understand a modicum of Japanese. Displays of awe and excitement vie for control over her face before deciding on just awe.
You can speak Japanese?
Yes, only some though. I came to Japan to learn. May your club be good to me. That didn't sound right, but I'm sure she'll get the gist of it.
Yes, very good. Natsuki will make cupcakes for you.
I shoot Natsuki an eyebrow, her mouth agape in shock. Wow, just for me?
Sayori, you dummy!
Natsuki slams an upright hand onto the top of Sayori's head, as if to split it open with a light-hearted karate chop. Monica and I share a laugh at the pair's expense.
Ow!
Natsuki's chop to her head may have not been as light-hearted as I thought, if it warrants that type of reaction from Sayori. I glance back to Natsuki, curious if she's somewhat remorseful, but I see she's beet red and slightly out of breath.
What I think she meant to say was that this is a special occasion, so catering is in order.
Well, you're all too kind. An awkward silence soon falls onto our group, with the commotion of the airport serving as our salvation out of it. I scramble my brain trying to find another way out of it, only to find it focusing on the very situation I find myself in. Just some foreigners surrounded and building rapport with three quite frankly cute schoolgirls. Now that I think about it like that, this seems strikingly familiar. Oh! Bingo! I rifle through my bag to find my sunglasses, the rest of the girls catching on to me making haste of my rucksack. I find the pair stowed in the front pocket, just barely tangled on a phone charge wire. A delightfully devilish grin finds itself growing on my face as I pull out my phone, unlocking it with my fingerprint and opening the camera app. I put on my sunglasses, carefully trying not to poke any eyes out. As all of the girls had their eyes already trained on me, they picked up on what I'm about to do. Peace signs from my peripheral view. Or peace signs form from my peripheral view. I raise my phone to try to get everyone in frame and try to replicate one of those gang signs JJ taught me. I take the photo. Thanks, everyone. I take off my sunglasses and put them back into the front pocket of my bag with as much forethought as last time. I inspect the photo for a moment before spotting the time and immediately feeling a sense of urgency take over. Hey Monica, you said over the exchange channel there would be other things you would show me after meeting at the airport. I locked the phone to show her this lock screen, time of day as large as it could be on my phone.
Oh, right. We have to hurry back to the station. The airport is very far from mine and the rest of the others.
Monica then stands, quickly turning her head to the other two.
Sayori, Natsuki, let's go.
The rest follow suit as I press the button on my luggage to extend its carrying handle. I kick the lower end of my luggage while on the move to get it into a more ergonomic position. It isn't long until we reach the exit of the airport. The sliding doors let loose a brisk gust of January wind. It hasn't been long since we've boarded the airport express train, so much so that a few of us were nearly swept off our feet from the sudden change in motion once the train got going. I look out the window to watch an ever-increasing density of buildings fly past me. A few minutes pass and this landscape broadens out into the horizon. An endless concrete ecumenopolis? Is that what that says? Caked in gray skies. I feel miserable about it, but I try my best to keep a neutral face, constantly reminding myself that it could always be worse. At least there's no graffiti, no assholes doing pull-ups on the handrails in the train, and no random puddles of God knows what on the floor. At least it's clean. Maybe when the snow comes around it'll be better. I see Monica's head turn towards me in my peripheral vision, dwelling for a few seconds before returning. Monica. She's been a big help so far. The last thing she did for me was how to buy tickets from the machines. Should show you how to? She explained that not every train ride needs tickets, but for this one it needed it. I'm all over the process of buying tickets from these types of stations, ultimately deciding to just go over the video I recorded of Monica pointing out which buttons to press and in which order. All of the differing colors provide a nice contrast to the litany of Japanese text, lending them a great amount of readability. Going over the video several times, I pick up on certain bits of kanji that show up a couple of times. I feel like I gotta remember them earlier, but I know damn well I won't unless I write them down somewhere. Hey Monica, how long is this train ride?
A little over an hour from now, I think. Alright.
I take out my notebook and pen from my bag that's in front of my feet. That line was probably supposed to be his, huh? But no, she definitely said it. Time spent moving and doing nothing else seems wasteful, so I might as well be a little productive. I unfold the folding table between Monica and I, trying to figure out how and where it's supposed to spin. Eventually, it lies flat above my lap, barely bending from its joint as I place my notebook and phone on top of it. I press play on the video again and pause to a specific point showing a text box with kanji in it. I try to replicate it as best as I can in my notebook, after which I end it with a dash. Hey Monica, what does this mean?
Purchase, buy, something like that.
And the other one?
If it's with the same one, it means the same thing, but if it's on its own, it means enter.
Ah, thanks. I write out their definitions after their respective dashes, after which I end with another dash. And how would you say them?
Buy and enter.
Thanks. I write out how they're said in hiragana after their final dashes. Monica and I continue this back and forth until there's no more video left to analyze. A good chunk of a page in my notebook's got new kanji translations now. I must have doubled the amount of it in a span of a few minutes. I flip through the other pages of my notebook to see how far I've come learning Japanese, feeling somewhat embarrassed at how pell-mell my organization of certain topics are throughout it. Especially when I know I'm being watched, and especially because they know how to read both languages in my notebook. Because of this, I make an effort not to cross over the halfway mark of it. Content with my work, I fold my table back into its little crevice and stow my pen and notebook back into my bag. I stretch out before reclining back into my seat.
Allie, do you have any friends back home?
Subtle. I know she didn't mean it like that, so I don't comment on it. However, I still find it pretty funny in my self-deprecating mind. Yeah, but they always had to go to some other school or move away. I didn't really keep in contact with many of them afterwards. But there's one guy I've been friends with for quite a while. I remember the original purpose I took that photo for back at the airport, but I gotta send it to him before I hit the hay. I know for a fact he'll attempt an international call over it multiple times. I still keep in touch with him. He's been real keen on what I've been up to. What brought this up?
It's just that before we went through that video and analyzed it together, you reminded me of a friend we have. The one that didn't come with us to meet with you. She isn't really lively like those two over there.
Monica turns her head over to Sayori and Natsuki, both leaning over to their left, drool seeping from the corners of their mouths, the pair out like a light. Bad timing, but point taken.
Anyways, she tends to keep to herself a lot and always looks like she's in deep thought.
I see the similarities, I guess. She's not one for loud places or crowds either, I assume.
Yeah, hence her absence.
And her English? How much does she know?
Oh, she's quite good, actually. She reads a lot, and she has a translated copy of a novel and the original English one side by side while she reads. I would say that she's almost as good as me, but she doesn't really know how to form sentences properly. But she would occasionally say some really long English word that none of us know and would then never explain it.
I prepare myself to put on the best pirate voice I could muster. Hark! Salvation has come for thee, Winslow!
What?
It means that help is on the way.
Oh.
That was funnier in my head.
Anyways, my point is that she's really shy, but I'm sure she'll open up to you, as she did to everyone else.
I see. Thanks for the heads up. I used the rest of this time to catch up on any sleep I might have missed out on my flight, as I didn't get a chance to grab an energy drink back at the airport. I rest my head farther back into my seat, as if to bury it deeper akin to a pillow, although the seat gives only a firm push back against my skull. Closing my eyes, I try to think about nothing.